Hey everyone, welcome to the Uke Stuff channel, and I am coming to you today with a comparison that I've been looking forward to for quite a while. Some time ago, I was able to buy this Martin OXK Concert at a very, very good price from someone that I think moved up to a full solid wood Martin. And the Martin comes along with the Martin gig bag. And I contacted Enya, who also, this is an HPL ukulele, makes an HPL concert ukulele, and asked them if they'd be willing to send me one for review purposes with the point that I was going to compare it to the Martin, and they were willing to do so. I recently did the full U-Guide review of this, so you can find that on this channel, and this has been reviewed on this channel as well. And I also want to note that I have made one change to the Martin. I bought Dare Young tuners off of AliExpress. They're about $40 to upgrade the Grover tuners that it came with, which I am not a fan of friction tuners. I know there are people out there who love them. You are welcome to love them. They're not my favorite. So I did have to spend another $40 to get those tuners. I would, if this was a more expensive Martin, I would spend the money and probably get the Gotos. I have a comparison on that as well, but the Gotos are just a little smaller and I think more attractive. But for a bargain Martin, which compared to some other ukuleles is not such a bargain, we'll talk about it in its comparison. I wanted to just make sure that was clear. Just looking at the general specs, the Enya's body is a little bigger, but that's not going to make a difference. Their thicknesses are very similar in thickness. The overall scale length, the Enya is just a touch longer in scale length than the Martin. And of course, you get the Martin styling, but I don't think either one looks like wood, to be honest with you. Both are a Koa print. There is the Martin's Koa print, and there is the Enya's. You can see the black of the HPL on the sides of both. That's one of the characteristics of HPL. And HPL is layered paper that's treated through a chemical process. It's basically what makes up a lot of people's kitchen counters. There's another company, Bonanza, that makes HPL ukuleles, but even they haven't made many HPLs recently. They've been mainly focusing on the solid woods in their offerings. So what I want to do is play them a little bit, compare them, and also just talk about a couple of the differences and the other key items here. So I'll put down the Enya first and play a little bit on the Martin. I'll start with Mark Pugh's from Stones Music in the UK, a distributor and seller of a number of brands in the UK. He wrote this and I use it as one of the samples. Here we go. Got cut up at the end there. All right, how about the Enya? All right, and a little fur elise on the Martin. All right, and on the Enya. All right, so let's just talk about some of what I'm noticing between the two, just playing them. Again, tuners, was not a fan of the Grover tuners that came with it. What's interesting is I have a Model 2 Concert Martin that I was able to pick up at a point, and that came with geared tuners. I don't know why for an instrument of this price you wouldn't go with something other than the Grovers, other than for tradition's sake, but that's where it's at. So if you want other tuners, you're going to swap them out yourself at an additional cost. In regards to the instrument itself, the neck profile is less rounded than the Enya, which I like much more. I do like the Martin neck. It's a good design. It's a good, comfortable, flat design, particularly at the first 5 frets where you're going to be barring most of the time. So, yeah, the neck wins on the Martin. The bodies, I'm sort of indifferent to both. The Enya does come with a radius fretboard, where the Martin does not. The Martin's neck is a laminated neck, whereas the Enya's is not. So that's, something to consider. Both have side position markers as you play them. But as you go a little bit further, the Martin does have the traditional slotted bridge, where the Enya has a pull-through bridge. That may be an advantage over time. The material ultimately is going to be the same, and of course the Enya does include strap buttons where the Martin does not. And of course you do get the rear-facing tuners on the Enya as well. Now in terms of gig bags, Martin includes actually a rather decent gig bag that has many of the things that I like about it. It's well padded, it's got a good pocket. It even has a strap to hold it into place on the inside, if you can see that there. What it's missing for me is a hanging strap, which I think is important. And I do like to see bags that have a sort of a safety bumper on the bottom so that you're not just resting the case on the ground necessarily. That can't happen when they design the bag with a zipper that far, but it just, nonetheless, not a bad bag, and I'm glad that it's included at that price point. Whereas the Enya's doesn't have the zipper in there or anything to hold it in, but overall, it's also a very, very good case with a nice front pocket. It does have the hanging tab, has a single strap that you can switch on its side, and no bumper on the bottom. The Enya, however, does give you a bag full of various goodies, from a tuner to a strap to extra strings and some other things, which is nice to see as well at the price point. And I think that is the big thing here, is the price point. The Enya lists at $119. You can often find it for under $100. The Martin lists at $349 and is sold at $349. You're not going to find it really on sale unless they're used. So here comes the question. The two real benefits that the Martin has is the neck and the sound. Are the neck and the sound worth $230 more than the Enya? And that's just at the list price of the Enya, not what you can probably buy it at. And I can't answer that question for you. I think they are both good instruments. They both have a place. The Martin, is it probably overpriced? Probably, for what you're paying for it, in terms of being a Mexican-made imported HPL instrument, that you're paying more generally because of the name. But that's how society works. The Enya is by far the better value of the two. The Martin sounds better. The Enya, with its radius fretboard, has an advantage there. The Martin with its neck has an advantage there. It's really up to your taste, and I think it's going to be how you feel with the thick neck of the Enya or the sound of the Enya, or whether you prefer the radius fretboard of the Enya to just the straight fretboard of the Martin, and to save some money on an instrument that is going to work for you. It does sound good. The Enya does sound good. The Martin just sounds better. I don't know. It's sort of up to you which way you want to go with that, but I did want to compare them, and I can't pick a winner here, and that's the best part. When I do these comparisons, I'm not giving a score. The scores for both were the same, not for the same reasons, on my uGuide reviews, but it gives you a chance to see them and hear them and think about what you would do. So, I know, feel free to write in the comments, and I do go through and approve those. It just blocks a lot of the weird stuff that happens with just bots and so forth. But feel free to leave a comment. Which of the two would you choose? Would you choose the Enya for under $100 likely, or would you choose the Martin at $349, which again you can buy like a Guitar Center River? It's always $349 unless you find one used. And if you find a Martin sold for cheaper. I think I picked up mine around $200 at the time. That's why I bought it when I did. It's definitely worth getting at that price, but is that worth it to you? I don't know. But I will say, again, Enya has some features that are good. The Martin has some features that are good, but the neck and the sound are superior to the Enya, whereas the Enya has some things that are better than the Martin as well. All right. Again, a comparison, but not a ranking between the two. I hope you are having a great day, and I'll be back soon with some more uke stuff for you.